public schools could adopt new, well, what they're referring to, equitable grading practices that would essentially instruct teachers to pass students who literally fail to turn in assignments and even cheat. I'm not kidding, this isn't made up, this is real. And it's based on a handout that teachers were given by the district in order to try out this new program. Now, the handout also instructs teachers to not assign zeros to assignments that are handed in late or are missing. It also states that for students caught cheating, they are to face disciplinary action instead of having their grade be penalized. Now, I guess I'm old at this point because I come from the era of you cheat, you might even get expelled. You get kicked out of the class. Like it's very, you plagiarize, that is a serious offense. But I guess it's biased to hurt someone's grade if they cheat, okay.
No,
it's look, insane, but there's more detail.
No, I know, we're gonna get into the detail in a second, but I guess these are leftists and they're pretending to be on our side or something. This is not what I want. This is madness. Okay, hey, don't give a zero for being late, it's gonna ruin the grade. It's an arguable point. Okay, fine, whatever, you're interfering too much with the teacher's prerogative. But don't give a zero for missing assignments. Well, what am I supposed to give? It's not here. Am I supposed to arbitrarily give it a 20, a 40, a 60, an 80 because it would be equitable?
It's insane.
No, you guys aren't getting it. This isn't justice and this doesn't help the students and it's deeply patronizing. And I could even argue that it's racist.
No, I'm gonna argue that it's racist because the assumption is that students of color, minority students, are just not capable of rising to the occasion. And so as a result, we're gonna lower the standards to be equitable. When in reality, what needs to be done is to cater the education and have high expectations of these students because believe me, they are more than capable, they are more than intelligent enough to rise to the occasion. They need to be inspired and they need help. It is not helpful to just allow them to cheat or fail to turn in assignments and pass them anyway. That is not helpful to them. And it is racist because again, it is making an assumption about certain students based on the color of their skin. And I think that's disgusting. But let me give you more. I wanna give you more details about what they're doing. The handout also instructs teachers to not give less than a 50% grade for any work that is incomplete, late, or does not meet expectations. Late work would not be penalized. In the new grading system, students would not be scored for participation and effort because administrators said these can be scored with bias. Oh, it's not biased to make assumptions about some of the students and their inability to rise to the occasion and actually produce incredible results? That's not biased? That's not biased. But it's allegedly biased to essentially avoid or to essentially give students higher marks or credit for things like participation and effort.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing about one of the specifics here. Late work not penalized. Then what incentive do they have to turn it in on time? Why don't you just destroy their work ethic? Like you're supposed to help people with work ethic, with all these different things. If you say there's no consequences, look, I know I've got a 13-year-old kid. I've got a 10-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. And I mentioned the 13-year-old because when they get to be 13, they definitely don't want to do the homework. And if you told them, hey, it doesn't matter if it's late or not, he's never gonna goddamn do it. And then if you say, oh, you're not gonna get a zero for that, we're just gonna arbitrarily give you an A for work you didn't do, then he's not gonna do it. And it's not because he's stupid, it's not because he's lazy, it's not because he's a minority. It's because you gave him the wrong incentives and you didn't believe in him.
Exactly, that's the thing, not believing in them. That's really rubbing me the wrong way. Look, I remember when I was in 5th grade, I've shared this story before, but I have to share it again because the one teacher that had the biggest impact on my life and my studies was Miss Robson in 5th grade. In 5th grade, I was one of those students who was just like, constantly feeling sorry for myself, blaming others for my failures, all of that, right? She pulled me aside, she had a big sign in the front of the classroom that said, I can and I will. She pulled me aside, she didn't baby me, she didn't coddle me. She's like, listen, you have a brain, you're a bright girl, you're more than capable, you can and you will, and I'm gonna hold you to it. And just hearing that educator believed in me made me wanna rise to the occasion. right? It inspired me. But that's not what's going on with this new strategy at Portland Public Schools. Gail Thiemann, who's a professor of curriculum instruction at Portland State, says whether or not a student does things on time is less important than what they do. No, I disagree, okay?
No.
Listen, what they do is important, of course, but turning the assignments in on time, being on time is a skill. It's like when people are playing sports, competing in sports, right? It's not just about their performance as they compete. It's about all of the other skills they learn that transfer into real life.
Yeah, and guys, we're supposed to be training them to be able to handle real life. And Anna makes a great point about sports. I hadn't even thought about that. Imagine you're like, no, I know it looks like I lost the basketball game 100-80, but don't worry, I was just a little late in scoring. Later, I scored 100 points. Yeah, that's not how it works. You got to do it in that time period, right? And here's another example, us. We're like, hey, look, we had a perfectly prepared show, and normally we go on air at 6 o'clock Eastern every day, but we did it at 9 o'clock. Well, the show's not on at 9 o'clock, it's on at 6 o'clock.
It's not about when we do the show, it's just that we do it.
No, you have to do it when you told people you're gonna do it. I mean, I manage people. You can't say, oh, we're gonna launch a product, or we're gonna launch this, or we're gonna launch that. Yeah, I did a great job 2 months later after you already launched it. Well, then you didn't do a great job.
Right.
So this is insanity. The cheating thing is so insulting. Oh, it's biased to think that even if you don't think it's about race, it's definitely about class, that's for sure, right? It's not equitable to expect poor people not to cheat. Oh my God, that's the most insulting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Totally agree that it's insulting. So look, I want to juxtapose what Portland Public Schools are doing with a particular elementary school called Salem Avenue Elementary School in Washington County, Maryland. I really want to emphasize this point. They have a 100% poverty rate in this school. The school is outperforming all other schools in the state. Now, why? What are they doing? What are they doing differently, right? The teachers believe in the students and they're going the extra mile, right? Rather than lowering standards, they're actually raising the standards, but they're meeting the students where they are. What do I mean by that? So 1 week before the start of school, equipped with maps and class lists, teachers from Salem Avenue Elementary hit the streets for what's known as the Blitz. Molly Adams and Stacy Yost teach 3rd grade at Salem Avenue. Together, they have 30 students on their list. That's 30 homes to visit. They'll spend hours traveling Hagerstown, knocking on doors, introducing themselves, and meeting the students and their families. The school's principal, Thomas Garner, incredible guy, is the one who actually came up with this idea back in 2012. He came up with the Blitz idea. So the principal created the Blitz in 2012. He wanted teachers to see firsthand how their students live and the challenges they face. Because at Salem Avenue Elementary, every student faces challenges. According to federal data, 100% of the students live in poverty. In fact, this town, Hagerstown, is a blue collar town of about 43,000 people, higher poverty rate than Baltimore City, okay, just to give you an idea. Many of the families who live there are dealing with addiction. The city sits at the intersection of Interstate 70 and 81, known as the heroin highway. So we're not talking about well-to-do families. We're talking about people who are really suffering here, but their students are outperforming. So Garner says that teachers who want to work at Salem Avenue have to understand where their students are coming from so they can tailor instruction to them to ensure that they succeed. Students are going to have bad days, just like everyone else. They may not have power on a day. They may not have great weather when they're walking a mile to school. These are things that they have to understand. I think visiting the students has made the teachers more humanistic. I think it's also really in some ways, weird ways, really it helps them push your expectations higher. I'm a firm believer that you can't feel sorry for anyone. Feeling sorry for someone never has made them stronger.
Yeah. So I love this school because that's the right attitude. I'm going to tell you a lot more about that in the members only bonus episode because I have a ton of personal stories about that. So tyt.com/join or hit the join button below on YouTube if you're watching there. But I want to say one more thing about how the Baltimore school is doing it right, or the Maryland school is, and Portland is doing it wrong. Guys, lowering the standards is not the right answer. Raising the kids up to the standards is the right answer.
Correct.
And if you say we cannot raise the kids up to those standards because of bias, you're missing the whole point. You're the one who's biased. Of course you can lift the kids up. They did it in Maryland. They've done it in different places. They did it in Turkey. Those are the stories that I'll tell you. They do it everywhere where you believe in the kids and you invest in the kids and you cherish them and have high expectations for them. What the leftists are doing in Portland is an atrocity, saying, oh, these people that are poor or whatever race they are, they can't succeed. We have to lower the bar for them. It's disgusting.
Soft bigotry of low expectations, am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good example of that. Finally, when I say that, Salem Avenue Elementary is doing well, what do I mean? What are the metrics? This is the only school with 100% poverty to earn 4 out of 5 stars on the Maryland report card, which measures overall performance based on factors including attendance, test scores, and curriculum. Nearly all the other schools in Maryland with 100% poverty earn 1 or 2 stars.
Believe in the kids, do not give up on them and say you now have a new standard, which is you don't have to do any work and you don't have to succeed and you can cheat or do nothing at all. It's the way they gave up on these kids is really, it's atrocious. You're not at all helping. This is not a nice thing to do. It's totally counterproductive. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.